Have you ever wanted to rain fire on your enemies? Blast them with beams of destruction? Or soar through the air like a bird? Well, with the new Evoker class in Dragonflight, now you can. Hey everyone, Voodoo here. So, yesterday, by some absolute miracle, I was given alpha access for Dragonflight. I was very excited. I stood up and knocked my chair over. It was kind of funny. So, of course, the first thing I did was I hopped on and I created a Drakthir. Drakthir are really unique in WoW. Not only, are they the new hero class, but they're also the only race that can be an Evoker. With them being the only race, right? To be able to be an Evoker. No one else can be that. Evokers can only be Drakthir, and Drakthirs can only be Evoker. I imagine in the future that this is going to change somehow, that Drakthir will be able to be different classes, but Evokers will just be able to be Drakthir. Their kind of idea is that, like, you were these warriors for Neltharion, and you're kind of awakening from slumber, and this is the only thing you can do. But I imagine that, like, as expansions go on, they'll be like, oh, you've been around people, you learn how to be a warrior, you learn how to be a mage, that kind of thing. In terms of gameplay, they fill either DPS, which is Devastation, or healing, which is preservation rolls. And they pull from 5 different Dragonflights for the magic. So here in the class tree, you can kind of see they have stuff for the black Dragonflight, they have stuff for the green, they have stuff for the blue Dragonflight, the red Dragonflight, and like these fire spells, and then also the bronze Dragonflight and like kind of tiny magic and stuff. The Devastation more specifically pulls from red and blue for their spells, where Preservation more specifically pulls from green and bronze to heal. Black is kind of more like the utility / defensive row. So their personal Obsidian Scales is the black Dragonflight, and then they also have this root ability called Landslide, which is also black Dragonflight. So like more earth stuff. They have a ton of utility in CC. They have a knockback, a knock-up. They have a group-wide, party-wide kind of movement thing that also does 20% less damage to area of effects called Zephyr. They have something called Time Spiral, which is super unique. It's a 2-minute cooldown. You bend time, allowing you and your party, you and your allies, to cast their movement ability once in the next 10 seconds, even if it's on cooldown. So, like, mages can blink again, demon hunters can fell rush again, yada yada. Drakthir also bring with them a unique raid buff called Blessing of the Bronze. What this does is you bless your party, and you reduce the cooldown of their major movement ability for 15% for an hour. So it's like, hover for this class, which is a movement ability. It's like fell rush. It's like blink, whatever. You guys understand. In their tree, they also have a bunch of other cool utility. They have a single target mana healing blessing. Whenever you cast an empowered spell, you restore 0.5% of the max mana per level, so you can empower up to, I believe, level 4. Yeah, level 4, so that's 2% mana every time you cast one of those spells. They get something that increases the duration of crowd control that can also be talented into a Soothe. They get this really cool movement ability. Lets you grab an ally and fly to a location. They get a bunch of healing. They also get an interrupt, of course. Healer also gets this. They get an absorb break, which is cool. So they get a lot of interesting stuff. They have like an AoE stun. So they're actually, I think their class tree is fairly powerful in terms of utility. For Devastation specifically, I'm not really going to touch on the healing one. I don't heal much. They have 2 different schools you can go into in the talent tree. You can do kind of like a blue build or a red build. So we'll talk a little bit about those individually. The blue build is kind of more on the right side here, and it's like single target. The red build is on the left, and it's more AoE. Then in the middle is more about like your cooldown, which is Dragon Rage, which I'll touch on in a second, and then like your empowerments and stuff like that. So as a class, mechanically, they function kind of like Death Knights in that they have a resource system. However, they only have one. So where Death Knight has runes and runic power, Evoker just has these things called essences, which are these little bubbles under here. I'll see if I can there. Used by Evokers to power certain abilities. 1 essence recharges at a time. So it's a little bit not the same as runes, because runes you can get 3 at a time. Essences you only get 1. But effectively, just don't overcap your essences and you'll be fine. These essences you use to spend spells. So you have certain spells that will spend this essence, and some that just don't, and then can be your fillers. You get stuff like Disintegrate, you get stuff like Charge Blast, stuff like Pyre. Those all kind of spend essence. And then Living Flame and Azure Strike don't. They're like your fillers, you see? So if I push Disintegrate here, which is a big channel beam, it costs 3 essence, 3 of my things empty, and they start recharging. Or I can push Pyre, and then 2 empty, and they start recharging. But if I push Living Flame, which is a cast, or Azure Strike, it doesn't do anything there. There's a bug currently on PTR, on Alpha, where they don't really show up recharging sometimes, but they are recharging, see? You can see them kind of fill up. The other kind of spells you have are empowerment spells, and you get one baseline, Fire Breath, and there are some others you can get. You talent into Eternity Surge in the single target build. So basically, these are things where you push it down and hold it up, and a little bar charges up, and when it's fully charged, you let it go, and you get kind of a added damage or added benefit the longer you charge it for. Viewer, it is I, Nosdormu, leader of the Bronze Dragonflight. Only 5% of the viewers who watch this channel are subscribed, and in the future this causes the timelines to fail. I've come back in time to warn you to make sure you subscribe to this channel to save this fate and save the world. Thank you. Now enjoy the video. So by default, to power up your empowered spells, you push and hold down the button. So I push and hold down Q, which is my Fire Breath, charge it up, and then I let it go. Boom. There's an option that allows you to turn them from hold down to push, so you can just tap it once, hold it up, and then tap it again to shoot it off. So the other main gameplay, besides your essences, of course, so I'm just going to spend these really quick. We're also on something called Essence Surges, which I'll see if I can generate one using my abilities. Essence Surges basically allow you to cast your essence spells without you actually using essences. I'm not getting a proc right now. There we go. It's like that. So see these glow up, and I can use it without actually using my essences. Ooh. So that's kind of the main gameplay loop. It's spend your essence stuff, fill with your fillers to kind of get essence bursts, and then use your empowered spells on cooldown. They generally do big damage, and they do interact in different ways with your kit. And if you can, you always want to charge them to the max level, because they do more damage. You can see here, I guess this one actually doesn't do more damage, it damages more enemies. But this one, the dot deals more damage. And this is also an AoE. This one can be an AoE, so I guess you just want to tap this and slam it rather than holding it down. So there you go, those are new things. In terms of cooldowns, they have 2, but they also have another one that can be used. It's a talent that can be used to kind of instantly cast one of your essence, your empowerments at max level. So I push it, tip the scales, let off a max one as fast as possible. So the 2 cooldowns are Dragon Rage, which erupts with a Draconic Fury and shoots pyres at 3 enemies. So pyre is this 3 essence AoE ability. Lobs it like that. So it has strong applications for AoE, right? So we push it, and then for 20 seconds, Essence Burst will always trigger, and you gain the maximum benefit of Mastery Giant Killer, regardless of their health. So our Mastery, or not our Mastery, but this class is Mastery, increase the damage of your spells by up to X% based on the current health of your target. Higher health takes more damage, so the higher health the target is, the more damage you deal to them. It's like a reverse execute almost, and you're going to get most value of that obviously on pull. But Dragon Rage means you will always get this benefit no matter the health of your target. The other one is Deep Breath, which is kind of the strafing bombing run you saw in the start of the video. So this is a brand new kind of targeting reticle here, which is like this this line that can be dragged out. It literally looks like a where a plane lands. You go, you target, you click it, and you go up, you fly over, and you kind of just spray them with fire as you fly by. There's talents in the general tree here that can make that stun enemies and also can allow you to reactivate to go back to where you started. I don't have them taken right now, but those are there as well. Oh, and hover is their main movement ability. I forgot to mention that. So you push it, it kind of shoots you forward, and then you're able to cast while moving for a little bit. You can't cast using empowered spells though, but you can like move around and channel, disintegrate and stuff. There's a stuff that gives you 70% movement speed when you do it, and then also an additional charge. In terms of damage, the main rotation for them will either be in the fire or the blue, the red or the blue schools, like I mentioned. So for blue, really, your whole thing revolves around disintegrate. You basically just want to keep this going as much as you can. You have a thing that deals more damage whenever you use it. You have a thing that has a chance to shoot out little Eternity Surges when you go. You also get access to Charge Blast, which is an essence spender that you want to use after 2 Azure Strikes, which is your main spender. You get your Eternity Surge, which you want to send off as fast as possible, and you want to just use your Fire Breath. That's kind of the single target rotation. You fill with Azure Strike, spend your essence on Charge Blast and Disintegrate, and then just use your cooldowns as they come up. It's Pretty simple gameplay, but I find it pretty fun. The spells look really cool. See, I'm kind of just blasting here. I do that. I get my empowerment. Do it again. Blast. Blast. Send one of these off. Oops, see, I did that. So you have to be careful with these that you charge them up to the first thing at least, or else they won't actually cast. That's one thing you gotta really make sure of. Other than that, it's a pretty simple DPS spec. I believe it's better to use Azure Strike over Living Flame while you're in the single target build here, the blue build. You have stuff that increases your blue spells and stuff that increases your red spells, and since this is a blue spell, I believe it does more damage than Living Flame. So that's a single target build, and in a second I can show you guys kind of more of the AoE talent esque build. Alright, so this is kind of what I've worked out to be kind of the AoE build for now. Again, you probably want to pick this up, but I'm not level 70, so there's a ton of points I can't have. So I don't have 2 points here, I don't have a point there. Whatever. So basically, you keep the middle. The middle is really good because it's all about like increasing your essence regeneration, giving your cooldown buffs, making your cooldown better, the cooldown reduction, stuff like that. Then you grab stuff on the other side here, which is all about dealing more damage with red spells, like your Pyre, like your Flame Breath, like your Living Flame. It gives you a new AoE ability called Firestorm. That has a chance to proc, reset the cooldown, deal more damage. You have stuff that reduces the cooldown of Fire Breath, makes Fire Breath deal more damage. And you know, Fire Breath deals more damage over time. Fire Breath deals more damage, reduces the cast time, extends the dot. So stuff like that. So again, in this one you don't want to use your obviously your blue spells as much. They don't do anywhere near as much damage. So Disintegrate, I didn't take the damage. I didn't take the talent that makes it buff. I didn't take the talent that deals more blue spell damage. So you don't really want to push those as much. But Living Flame becomes your spender, and Living Flame actually does a lot of damage when you cast it. So it's a little bit of a long cast, but you shoot it off, and it deals like 15k on a single hit. And you can see I actually got my proc of Firestorm there. So this is Firestorm. Someone else already threw one down. You can see it's an ability that kind of deals damage in an area over time. And then your main spender in AoE is Pyre, which shoots out and deals a little bit of damage. There's talent as well that makes it cost less and has a chance to make it kind of hit again whenever you send it out. I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere here. I don't know. It's somewhere. There you go. Pyre's a chance to fly up again. This actually makes your cooldown quite good because it shoots out Pyres, right? So you do a lot of damage. And you kind of have your Fire Breath. Shoot out your Pyre. Get a ton of free Pyres. Just do a lot of damage there. Beep, beep. You can throw out Firestorm. Shoot out Pyre again. Do your little strafing run. Fill with Living Flame. Pyre, Firestorm, Living Flame. So I think that's kind of what the AoE build would be. There is a chance that you actually just end up playing the blue build in both scenarios. I think this would be better for like larger AoE because just the fact Pyre actually hits really hard and hits a lot of targets. It's uncapped, so it does you know, as much damage as you have targets there, and it hits for a fair bit, especially if it crits. It also reduces the damage of Fire Breath, which is capped. It deals reduced on 5 targets. But the dot itself does a lot, 14,000 over 16 seconds. So if you kind of just hit all of them, or I guess 3, it hits them pretty hard. And then ticks for a really good bit over time as well. So I think that would be really good in dungeons. Firestorm is interesting, because it kind of takes a while to do its damage. But if you can keep the targets in there, or if you get the free proc from spending Pyre, then I believe it actually will be fairly good and do a lot of damage. Oop. See, Living Flame just hits so hard, like 15k. If I crit, it's like 30k. It's kind of a little bit crazy. Enough of Firestorm, Dragon's Breath. Now, of course, I don't have the talent right now where Fire Breath and my other empowered ability, which I don't have right now, reduce my cooldown. But you would probably put points in here. You'd probably grab Imposing Presence. It's possible you do get Eternity Surge if you have enough points, because it is an AoE ability, right? Oh, I didn't apply that. Apply changes, because I can charge it up to hit more targets. So it's possible you end up using this as well. You also have stuff like Eternity Span, Eternity Surge, and Azure Strike hits twice as many targets. You have talent over here, Azure Strike damages one additional enemy. And then you also have Charge Blast with a talent that can make it hit more targets. So it's possible that the blue build will actually end up being a decent AoE option as well. Really hard to say at the moment. There's no sims, there's no nothing. Nobody has, like, everyone's just kind of picked up this class yesterday, really. So it's pretty new. You also have talent over here, Fire Breath causes your next living flame to strike one additional target per empowerment level. So if I Fire Blast, send it out, so I have max, and then I shoot up my living flame, I should hit more targets here. I don't. I'm assuming it's because they're not close enough to cleave, but this cleaves. So I'm unsure why. It could just not be working. A lot of talents just aren't implemented currently and don't work properly. But theoretically, that would be really good. Boop, throw that out. Fly off. Shoot out some pyres. Fire Breath. The spells feel really good to push. Like, they look cool. I feel like they do like a ton of damage. And I've actually really enjoyed playing with it. I might, alt one. But that's kind of it for the two talents. Their talent tree isn't the most in-depth, but it does have a lot of cool abilities. And once I hit 70, once they allow it to happen, I'm only 66. Because, this is literally the second day of the alpha. I believe you could really fill this out and have some cool stuff. So that's it for kind of my Devastation Drakthir overview video. The class is pretty fun. It's super mobile, and it looks really cool. A lot of the spells just look sick. Right? Like, these animations are really cool. I can't wait to see where this goes and explore more stuff in the alpha. So if you enjoyed this, consider subscribing, leaving a like, and comment down below. It really helps me out. New channel, looking for that engagement. I have alpha, so I'm going to be posting a ton of content over the coming weeks. Stick around for that, and thank you guys for watching.